Hello there, and welcome to Pets Aplenty. Today on the channel, you'll learn about the Australian cattle dog, a clever, active breed that only really enjoys itself when working. We've gathered all this information to help you make an informed decision if you find yourself drawn to this beautiful dog. Before we continue though, we would love for you to become a member of the channel by clicking on the Join button down below. You can also review the perks of Pets Aplenty membership after clicking the Join button. Now, let's get into the video. The breed's history. The Australian cattle dog of today is the product of several crossbreeding and breedings. In Australia's severe climate and working environment, ranchers needed a sturdy dog. So, Australian immigrants in the 19th century developed the Australian cattle dog, specifically to herd cattle on big ranches. This breed helped ranchers develop the Australian beef industry by herding the sometimes out-of-control, almost feral cattle through quiet but ferocious nips and bites. The most common breed among ranchers and drovers, blue-colored dogs, came to be known as blue heelers. They were known as Queensland heelers or Queensland blue heelers and were particularly well-liked on cattle drives in Queensland. Due to the incapability of the dogs initially imported from England, they were crossed with the local dingo. Originally known as the Australian heeler, the breed eventually went by the name Australian cattle dog, which is now recognized as the legal name in Australia and other countries. Robert Kaleski began breeding blue heelers in 1893, and in 1897 he began exhibiting them. To create a standard, Kaleski based the cattle dog on the dingo since he thought this breed was most suited for the desert of Australia. The Australian cattle dog was approved for registration by the American Kennel Club in May 1980 after spending some time in the miscellaneous class. In the working group, he was able to participate as of September 1980. In January 1983, the breed was moved to the herding group. Appearance. The Australian cattle dog has a white coat that eventually becomes blue-gray or red at birth. Short and bristly on the outside, the undercoat is soft and protects against harsh temperatures. The hues of an Australian cattle dog signify his multiracial history, which includes ancestry from the Dalmatian, Collie, and wild Australian dingo. He has a remarkable fur pattern that is either mottled or speckled with hues of white, gray, blue, black, or red. Although no two coats are ever precisely the same, a standard feature on many cattle dogs is a contrasting color patch over one or both eyes that is distinct from the color of the snout. The body of an Australian cattle dog represents the coiled, slender force behind the double coat. His sturdy, nicely proportioned physique supports power and endurance while not being bulky or muscular. Males are between 18 and 20 inches tall, while females are between 17 and 19 inches. It varies from 30 to 50 pounds in weight. His snout is small and pointed, his head is curved and wide, and his somewhat bushy tail dangles carelessly from his hindquarters. Temperament. The Australian cattle dog is one to defend his area if it is something he feels to be his. At the same time, he is likewise wary of strangers, albeit not necessarily hostile. He may be violent if he's bored or lonely. He is, nonetheless, loyal to his owner and family. Once he unites with his master, he enjoys following them everywhere they go. In fact, the Australian cattle dog's punishment is being physically separated from the people he loves. During the adoption process, it's essential to remember that puppies with good dispositions are interested, lively, approachable, and want to be cuddled. Always meet at least one parent or sibling to ensure they're pleasant and comfortable with you. This gives you an idea of what the puppy will grow into. Usually, the mother is the one who is accessible. It's wise to select a puppy in the midst of the pack rather than the one bullying its littermates or cowering in the corner. His independence is better reined in by consistent, encouraging teaching. Numerous elements, including training, socialization, and inheritance, impact temperament. Socialization. Australian cattle dogs are motivated and skilled in pursuing prey and, naturally, moving cattle. They are terrific jogging companions because of their endless energy and flexible stride. ACDs are notoriously clever, fiercely devoted, always on guard, and suspicious of strangers. An ACD quickly grows bored and mischievous if he isn't challenged. The Australian cattle dog is a terrific family pet. Still, he gets along with kids best if he grows up with them and welcomes them as family members. If an adult Australian cattle dog hasn't spent much time with kids, they won't know how to handle them, and it could even be overly challenging. You should also carefully monitor any interactions between young children and dogs. Teach your kids to never attempt to steal a dog's food or approach a dog when he or she is eating or resting. The Australian cattle dog requires early socialization or exposure to various people, sights, noises, and experiences. At the same time, they are young, much like any other dog. Early socialization ensures that your Australian cattle dog has a well-rounded development as a dog. Grooming. The Australian cattle dog has a thick undercoat below his short, straight, weather-resistant outer coat. The typical Australian cattle dog blows his coat once or twice a year rather than constantly losing hair. Although the Australian cattle dog doesn't need much grooming to be clean and healthy, he does need some. He will require a thorough brushing every few days throughout the shedding season to get rid of the dead hair, using a short bristle brush and probably a comb. You can bathe him as necessary, depending on when he starts to smell or looks particularly unclean. Every week, you should examine his ears for redness or an unpleasant smell that might be an infection. To help avoid infections, clean your dog's ears when you examine them using a cotton ball soaked with a mild, pH-balanced ear cleanser. Simply wipe the outer ear. Avoid inserting anything into the ear canal. If your dog doesn't naturally wear down their nails, trim them once a month. They're too lengthy if you can hear them clicking on the floor. Nails that are short and well clipped maintain the foot in excellent shape. At least twice a week, brush your Australian cattle dog's teeth to eliminate tartar accumulation and the germs that live there. Even better than twice daily brushing is the prevention of foul breath and gum disease. Check your pet's feet, nose, mouth, eyes, and skin for sores, rashes, or infection-related symptoms, including redness, soreness, or inflammation when you groom them. Dogs are sensitive when it comes to their feet, so they touch their paws regularly and examine their lips. Lay the framework for simple veterinarian checks and other handling when he's an adult by making grooming a rewarding experience full of praise and incentives. When your Australian cattle dog is a puppy, start exposing him to brushing and examinations. Exercise. The Australian cattle canine needs more than just a fast walk and some yard activity since it is such an active, high-energy dog. Participating in dog sports is an excellent option since it allows the Australian cattle dog and owner to enjoyably harness the breed's drive and energy. Dog sports include obedience and agility. He requires a rural farm or ranch or a house with a yard that is completely fenced in. He is not suitable for apartment living or being left alone for extended periods. Always remember, he was raised to herd and pursue, so you can expect him to do just that. Herd and chase everything, even vehicles. Make sure you can provide an Australian cattle dog with a suitable outlet for his inherent energy and sharp intelligence if you're considering getting one. Training. Australian cattle dogs have an endless supply of energy, agility, and learning capacity. All dogs need the proper training and leadership, particularly Australian cattle dogs. Basic dog training focuses on pursuits like tracking, obedience, and agility games that help him learn that you are the herd leader. Ask him to do an essential task and promote sound mental and physical health. Remember that an intelligent, active dog will grow bored if left unoccupied, and an active, bored dog may turn destructive. You must be cautious with his predisposition to mouth, chew, nip, and bite. He has to be trained to only chew on acceptable objects such as strong toys instead of humans. Diet and nutrition. The Australian cattle dog should thrive on premium dog food, whether it's produced commercially or made at home under the guidance and consent of your veterinarian. The kind of dog food you purchase matters. The better the food, the more effectively it'll feed your dog, and the less you need to shake into the bowl. Discover which foods fit the bill for canine consumption and which don't. Like humans, each dog is unique. Thus, they don't all need the same quantity of food. The amount of food your adult dog consumes is influenced by the size, age, build, metabolism, and degree of activity. A very active dog will need more than a couch potato dog, which should almost go without saying. Fresh, clean water should always be accessible. See your veterinarian if you have any worries or challenges about your dog's weight or nutrition. Health. Australian cattle dogs are primarily healthy and susceptible to specific health issues like other breeds. Ideally, breeding stock should be examined by a reputable breeder for diseases including hip dysplasia, progressive retinal atrophy, which results in visual loss, and deafness. While not all Australian cattle dogs may get one or more of these illnesses, it is nevertheless vital to be aware of them if you're thinking about getting one of these dogs. Find a reputable breeder that will provide you with the health clearances for both of your dog's parents if you're purchasing a puppy. Verify that a puppy's parents have undergone testing for these conditions. Health certifications attest to a dog having undergone testing and been declared free of a certain ailment. Did you get a health clearance while adopting your canine buddy? Let us know in the comments section. Consider becoming a member of the channel by clicking the join button to get early access to our upcoming videos plus other membership perks. Also, check out our playlists and click on the video links that pop up at the end of this video. Thank you for watching.